Okay, there we go. Got the camera set up, and I'd like to think y'all have a fairly good view of the battlefield. It's not perfect, but nothing is it? Hey. Welcome once again to my studio on the Direct Action Gaming channel. What we got here is Grim Dark Future Firefight. So it's Grim Dark Future, but it's also Firefight. This is the skirmish version of Grim Dark Future. If you don't know, Grim Dark Future is made by One Page Rules. It is essentially a free tabletop war-playing game, mostly focused on war games. This is, as I said, the skirmish version of it, right? So we're doing it instead of full armies, we have like platoon-sized squads here and whatnot. Now, what's interesting is I've never done skirmish before, which is funny because most people usually say like skirmish is the best way to get yourself situated in tabletop wargaming, because you really only need like a handful of models and all that jazz, right? So, for example, on one side of the battlefield, we have our Blood Brothers, and on the other side here, we have our Human Defense Force, and we really only got, let's see here, I have my lists. Does this have a count for models on the lists that I printed out? Not necessarily. Got the core rules. We only have an hour, basically, because I got to get to work today. Let's see. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 models for the Human Defense Force. That's a decent amount, especially compared to the Blood Brothers, which really only have 7. Yeah, one is also in reserve. We've got an Assault Brother with a jetpack, which begins the game in reserve. Now, here's the thing. We have done on this channel Grim Dark Future before. I did that in a similar fashion, and or I just kind of set it up and I started playing impulsively, but I guess the idea was One Page Rules is simple enough that if you've never played it before at all, if you're not familiar with it whatsoever, if you just stick to the core rules, you should be able to do okay and finish your game pretty quickly. So we're going to see if that is the case once again here with Firefight. Now, I went over the rules a little bit on the previous day to recording this, and it kind of seems like the rules are functionally the same. They really only changed like a few things with regards to wounds and morale. So I suppose it makes sense. I expected them to be radically different because it's effectively a different game, but really, when you think about it, it's the same universe, the same army lists, the same. So the same game mechanics should apply more or less. They just had to change things just slightly to represent the fact that like you're not using full armies here. So like, for example, we don't have a full squad of Battle Brothers over here. We have precisely 2. And each Battle Brother counts as its own sort of unit, right? Same thing with the Pathfinders over there, and there's a Death Brother and a Master Brother over there. So I have everything set up. I have a general plan in mind for both forces. What we also have is our objectives in the form of like, I don't even know if you can really make that out. These are like some new scenery that I got. Ruined Tau Union, which is the One Page Rules version of Tau. Ruined battlesuits, basically. So I thought it might be neat, instead of using like the objective tokens that I was using last time for Grim Dark Future, we'll use something a little bit fancier and 3D to represent the objectives. So these are all 9 inches apart, more or less somewhere in the middle of the battlefield, and so this is going to go down more or less like that other episode of Grim Dark Future went down, right? So In one-page rules games, it works a little bit differently than Warhammer. If you've played that, it's not I go, you go. It's sort of it's like a game of chess. You activate units, and instead of the standard game being one army is trying to wipe the other out, we have objectives, right? The only thing that matters is who controls the X amount of objectives by the final round of the game, right? And so we play the game in rounds, and we're going to roll to see which side has initiative. That's a great way to start. We're going to have black for Human Defense Force and red for the Blood Brothers to see who will get to activate one of their units first. All right, so I guess the Human Defense Force gets to go first. Okay. So allow me to remind myself of the slight differences here. Now basically with the slight differences here with wounds and morale is when a model takes a wound. Normally in Grim Dark Future, a wound means a model is gone. That doesn't always mean that in Firefight. It means you roll for a wound effect, and that model is either shaken or knocked out. If it's knocked out, then the model is gone. If it's shaken, it will take a wound, and then it will get a +1 to future wound effect rules. So the more hits your little models take, the more likely it is for them to go down. But they do not go, since you only have like a handful of models on the board here, they don't go down immediately as soon as they take a hit, right? Also, morale, once again, since you have a handful of models, and as I was explaining earlier, sometimes one model is an entire unit. You take a morale test with your whole platoon as opposed to like individual units. So, for example, with the Blood Brothers here, we would not be taking a morale test until we lose 3 of them. We have a force of 7. So I believe it says at the end of each round, if an army is down to half or less of its starting units, then all of its units must take a morale test, which means each individual Blood Brother unit would have to take a morale test to see whether they are shaken or not, and all of that good stuff. If a model is currently shaken and they have to take another morale test and they lose that morale test, they become routed, and that means you just remove them from the game. So that is how that works, more or less. What I was wondering here is, does tough work differently? Okay, this model only rolls to check wound effects once it has taken X wounds or more. Okay, I figured that much. And is only knocked out on rolls of 5 or more plus X or more. 5 plus X or more? An example, a model with tough 3 only rolls for wound effects once it has taken 3 wounds or more and is knocked out on rolls of 8 or more? Now that's interesting. How the heck would you get 8 or more if you're just rolling a d6? I guess you'd have to roll 2d6. Now that's interesting. The core rules. Groups and wounds, whenever unit is with. Now, there are some units that do count as a group. For example, these infantry squads here, there are 3 models in each one. Okay, so these are going to work the way they normally would in Grim Dark Future. When this little infantry squad takes a hit, we remove one model, we remove another model. Once there's only one model left, then we start rolling for wound effects. And the final model only goes down once we actually roll 6 or more for the knocked out. Yeah, whenever a model takes 1 or more wounds, place 1 marker next to it for each. Then the defender rolls 1 die, adding the number of markers. Oh, I see. Adding the number of markers to the result. I see. Okay. Now I get it. That's how you would get an 8 or more. You don't roll 2d6. Okay, I need to learn how to read. Now we get it. Now we get the main difference. Pretty much everything else should be the same. Okay. Now the only thing we really need to determine... Most of this stuff is going to count as just cover terrain. If something is blocking line of sight, that is blocking. I think we will declare like these large rubble piles, 3 of them, to be dangerous if models for some reason decide to climb on top of them. I don't really see that happening. We're going to try to keep this simple, though, because like I said, I don't have an awful lot of time. We have precisely 50 minutes now. So we know Human Defense Force is going first, so they get to activate the first model. Okay, so it's telling me here the only units with tough would be the Ogre, the weapon team, and the company leader. So stormtroopers, infantry squads, they don't have tough. So that would mean those stormtrooper models, they each count as an individual unit, but we're going to be doing weapon effects, wound effects for that, provided they get hit. All right, who are we going to move first on the side of the Human Defense Force? Decide who we are going to activate. 3 inches from here would be like right there. What we might try doing is activating these guys first to claim this. They'll just inch forward a little bit, I would suppose. We'll put like 2 of them right here. That guy right there. They should be able to They really can't see those scouts over there. They cannot see those Pathfinders. They only have like a line of sight to that Death Brother over there. So from where they are, they can't see a gosh darn thing for now. So I guess they just advance and sort of take this. That means the Human Defense Force has taken 1 objective. Since we have a model precisely 3 inches away from this robot. So I guess those guys are just going to hold right there and keep that robot. And perhaps we might do something similar with the Blood Brothers over here. because we could activate, let's see. Either of these guys could just straight up do a rush. They both just have like pistols. Like, there's no reason to just say they do an advance. Although an advance would still put them more or less where I want them. We could advance the Death Brother and put him right there. Death Brother moves right there. So we activate the Death Brother. Okay. All right. So who are we activating next? So you can see for the Human Defense Force, both the Human Defense Force and the Blood Brothers, I kind of arranged them in like a pincer fashion, I guess. With the Blood Brothers, I'm like, let's put the Shooty Boys in the center so that they can maybe hit either flanks from where they are, especially that heavy machine gun guy. We want him in the center. For the Human Defense Force, we have our Shooty people on either end, but we have some melee in the center. So more or less the opposite, because I figure we want our toughest people to try and maybe take and hold that one in the center there. So we might try like this ogre could rush. Yeah, would be 3 inches from that objective if we hide the ogre right there. Yeah, we'll just rush with the ogre. So the ogre is just hiding right here. Boom. That's the ogre. Okay. I wonder if... And we got so much rubble all over the place, we can barely see any gosh darn thing. Maybe I put too much terrain on here, I don't know. And both of these guys can see that ogre. So maybe both of the Shooty Boys just start lighting up that ogre. Let's see how that works. So how about we start by activating the heavy bolter guy. All right, and we'll take some shots with him. See how that works. Just checking the camera to make sure. Just paranoid to make sure it's still arranged correctly, right? Y'all can see everything, right? Okay, so Blood Brothers. We got a heavy machine gun. We'd be rolling 3 die. It's got a range of 30 inches and an AP of 1. Now, this ogre, tough 3, defense 4 or more, shielded, and in cover. Wow, I think that means should get a save roll of 2 or more, really. 3 or more, because AP 1. So 3 or more. Gonna roll 3 die. Quality for Blood Brothers is 3. So we're hitting on 3s. Oh my gosh, only 1 hit. Oh my god. Okay. We got one hit with a heavy bolter on the ogre. Ogre saves on a 3 or more. Saves. All right. Ogre's good. Okay, so what do we activate on the side of the human defense force? We got guys over here on this side. I was kind of thinking they might slink around the corner here. Try and get there. Would it be a good idea to rush with them? Just go around this and be behind that? We could do that. Let's do that. We'll activate the infantry squad, say they kind of rush around here so that they can be behind this junk barricade. All right. Okay. So we'll keep shooting at the ogre with the other guy that has a heavy rifle. Now he only gets to roll 1 die. He also has AP1 though. Hits on a 3 or more. 4. Okay, so he does not miss. Ogre still saves on a 3 or more. 6. Ogre's good. Whole lot of plinking going on here. Okay. All right, so we're putting an activation token next to the rifle guy. Okay, so you know what we might do is have one of these stormtroopers go over this way, perhaps. Gonna rush. Be kind of out in no man's land for now. Maybe a little risky. We're changing tactics here. One stormtrooper is going to be in the middle with the ogre and perhaps the company leader, and then another one is going to go around with these other guys. Still have our heavy weapons team over here. Okay, so for the Blood Brothers, we do have these Pathfinders. We basically just have these Pathfinders and the Master Brother left. So I guess it wasn't super risky moving that stormtrooper out in the middle of nowhere because no one's going to be able to shoot at him. We just got 3 guys with pistols. They're probably all going to rush too anyway. Put the Pathfinders here because for some reason I thought maybe it's viable to have them try and scurry all the way over there. Maybe that's a terrible idea, though. I mean, as long as we can hold 2 out of 3 of them, we win, right? So currently we only hold 1. Currently, Human Defense Force has 2. So we would have to knock out that ogre and whoever else gets up there. If I have these guys rush, they could both be right behind this little junk barricade. I could maybe have one advance, be right here, and be able to take a pot shot at the ogre. That might not be a terrible idea. Although I think it would be a terrible idea to have this guy rush all the way over here and just get shot to pieces by all those guns over there. Maybe we have this guy rush over here. But first, we'll have this one, I guess, take an advance move. Be right here. So that he can take a pot shot with his, I believe, should have a heavy pistol. Yeah, heavy pistol, attack 1, AP 1. Okay. Quality on Pathfinder should be 4. Hitting on a 4 or more. 5 hits. All right. So since it's AP 1, once again, the ogre is going to save on a 3 or more. 4. Ogre's good. All right. So we have activated this Pathfinder. What's going on with these heavy machine gun guys over here? If we inch them forward a bit, we could say they could hit that Pathfinder or the Shooty Boys. They would both be in cover, though. So let's advance the heavy machine gun team. And the heavy machine gun team should have just a heavy machine gun. That's what they have. They don't count as having like a heavy machine gun and a rifle. Yep. All right, so the heavy machine gun can fire. It's very similar to the Blood Brothers heavy machine gun. It just only hits on a 5. All right. So we're activating these 2 little guys. Rolling 3 die. Hitting on 5s. We're shooting at the Pathfinder over there. And we get 1 hit. All right. Pathfinder has a defense of 4, is in cover though. So saves on a 4. There you go, Harry. Take a roll for defense. Miss. Okay, so took a hit. So now we're going to see the wound effect. Wound effect means we roll a d6. Yeah, and on 1 to 5 shaken, if we get a 6, then this guy is just gonzo. It's a 3, so he now takes a wound marker. So that'll mean the next time that Pathfinder gets hit, we add +1. But also, this Pathfinder is shaken. So that means next turn, Harry's not going to knock everything over. Next turn, he can't do anything. Okay, so the heavy machine gun just went. I guess real quick, we're gonna either rush with what's an advance for the Master Brother? the Master Brother advance here and probably still be considered in cover behind that that battle suit? Probably. Let's do that. We'll activate the Master Brother, taking cover behind the battle suit. Okay, so Master Brother is activated. Master Brother should have a Master Heavy Pistol. Yep, meaning can roll 2 die and AP1. Master Brother also has Rapid Rush Aura that I completely forgot about. This model moves plus 6 inches when using rush action. Oh, wow. Also, this model and up to 3 friendly units picked before the start of the game get Rapid Rush. So if it's only 3, I guess that's going to apply to the Death Brother, the Assault Brother, and one of the Pathfinders. Yeah, they all have Rapid Rush. Wait, no. How about just both Pathfinders? The Assault Brother is not technically on the table. Also has a freaking jetpack anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, rolling 2 die, hitting on a 3 or more, because quality 3. We're going to shoot at that little infantry squad there. And they both missed. Oh my gosh. Got a 1 and a 2. Alright, supposedly these are genetically modified super soldiers, but they are not, they're just not having a good day, I guess. Okay, so that was the Master Brother, and I think there's really only one other. Yeah, okay, so we can activate either, for the Human Defense Force, we can either activate the company leader or this Stormtrooper here. Thinking it might be good to we could rush with the Stormtrooper and just put him up here. Let's do that. Activate the Stormtrooper. Climbs up here. That's activated. All right. And then we're going to activate that Pathfinder and have the Pathfinder rush to be over here. This Pathfinder goes right here. That one's activated. And then we activate the company leader, who's going to maybe rush to be right behind this, perhaps? I mean, to be fair, we should count all of this as, like, difficult terrain. Let's just say he rushes to be right behind the ogre. He's going to hide behind the big guy. That's what he's going to do. All right, so that was the end of round 1. So with round 1 over, we remove all the activation tokens. I believe the Human Defense Force is still in the lead. But now, Blood Brothers are going to get to deploy their ambush unit. Okay. So with ambush, you deploy ambush units at the beginning of any round, and they can basically drop anywhere on the map as long as they are 9 inches away from all other enemy units. So, where should we be putting this assault brother? I mean, it might make sense to have the guy just drop behind this wall right here, so nobody's going to be able to shoot him to death right away. But at the same time, if we put him right there more or less, right behind this thing. All right, we'll say he drops down here-ish, like that, so that he's... Yeah, that puts him 9 inches away from this guy. 9 inches away from these guys. And from this guy. The stormtrooper can see him. Human Defense Force does get to go once again. Not because they won initiative, but because they were the last one to activate a unit for the last round. So Human Defense Force is still in the lead. I don't know what the range on these heavy rifles is. Stormtroopers, yeah, 24 inches. So if I advance this guy here, he's not going to be able to shoot at that guy. Could just advance him over here and just take a quick pot shot at him. I mean, do I really need to do that? Because the heavy machine gun could also shoot at this guy. I think I'm going to need to move these guys. They already took this, so they don't need to stay here. We could advance these guys over this way and get a couple rifle shots in on that guy as well. All right. And could move this guy like over here. Yeah, that might make sense. 6 inches is going to take this guy where? Right here. All right, so we'll start by activating the Stormtrooper. We're going to advance the Stormtrooper right here, basically. The Stormtrooper be able to see it, you gosh darn thing from here. Can see Pathfinders and the heavy bolter guy. Can definitely see the Master Brother over there. We're gonna say he peeks over that wall, takes a shot at that Pathfinder that already has a wound. It's got an attack 1. He's got a quality of 4. Hits. All right. Heavy rifle has AP 1. So Pathfinder should save on a 4. Okay, fails again. So that means we've got to roll for wound effect once again, adding a 1. And we get a 2, meaning it's a 3. So he takes another wound marker. That means the next time he gets hit, I mean, he's still shaken. So I don't think he gets shaken again. No, we're gonna say that Pathfinder is still shaken for the next turn as well. That Pathfinder is still just pinned down and can't do a gosh darn thing. So might as well be out of the fight, more or less. Okay, so that one shot. Who is getting activated on the Blood Brother side? $12 inches. Oh my, okay. Yeah, we might just be doing some charging here, right? Okay, so we might be able to charge into melee with the Assault Brother here, thanks to the jump pack he got. He can just go right into it with the Stormtrooper over there. All right, so we're going to activate the Assault Brother. We're going to initiate a melee over here. Okay. So the Assault Brother Yeah. Gets to roll 2 die. AP1. Quality 3. And Bloodborne is going to mean that each unmodified roll of 6, this model may roll +1 attack with that weapon. Okay, we get to roll for an additional attack if we get any 6s. We hit on 3s, 3 or more. We do get a 6 and we get a 3, meaning we can roll an additional attack. That's another 6. Okay, so that's not yet another hit. So we get 3 hits. All right, so now the Stormtrooper is going to have to roll to defend. Should have a defense of 4, but thanks to the AP1, only defends on a 5. Wow, 2 5s and a 6. Okay. That was one hell of a roll there. Okay. So the Stormtrooper, with close combat weapon, only gets to roll for 1 attack, no AP, quality 4 or more. Will the Stormtrooper decide to strike back? Probably not. Probably not. If I was him, no, I would just sort of back the heck off, because he's better at shooting. He does not have to strike back. If he strikes back, he's going to be counted as fatigued for any future melees. Not that that really matters. I don't think striking back counts as like his activation. Defenders may choose to strike back, but don't have to. If one of the units is destroyed, the other may move by up to 3 inches. Else, chargers must move back and separate by 1 inch if possible. Okay, nobody was destroyed. I think what basically happens is the charger has to move back like 1 inch here. So I'm going to have to back up off this platform here. That's kind of funny. He just rolls in there, just flurry of blows, and somehow the Stormtrooper desperately defends every single one of them. And the crazed Bloodbrother is all like, I'm gonna just chill out now. Let's just back the fuck up and just reassess, shall we? All right, I think we're gonna activate the Stormtrooper. Gonna shoot at the Assault Brother. Let's see. Heavy rifle. Yeah. Should hit on a 4. Hit. All right. AP1. So that means this Assault Brother is saving on a 4 or more. 5. Assault Brother's good. Okay. So who do we activate next? I guess the Blood Brothers get to go next. We are going to have to wrap this up soon, y'all. So I'm probably not even going to be able to finish this round. So I don't know who won, per se. But this game definitely isn't like as quick as I thought it would be, despite the fact that you have like way less models. Thanks to like that wound effect and whatnot, we can see that like a model may be in the fight for a lot longer than you might think. Okay, since the Pathfinder and the Death Brother and the Master Brother all have Rapid Rush, they can all easily charge just anybody on the other side here. Especially this Pathfinder that has Strider can just go over any gosh darn thing. This Death Brother. Yeah, we'll say the Death Brother charges and engages this infantry squad. Because why the heck not? Game's almost over anyway. We're just fucking around at this point. Let's just see what this Death Brother can do. Death Brother. Yeah, the only thing really different about the Death Brother is it's got regeneration. That's about it. But heavy CCW, close combat weapon. So, and also Bloodborne. So any 6s equal an extra hit. We hit on a 3 or more. We get precisely 1 hit, and that's it. All right. So AP1 though, so that means the soldiers here are only going to be able to save on a 6. All right, 1 soldier is dead. Done killed 1 of them soldiers. Okay, the other 2 soldiers get to decide whether they're probably not going to do that. They're not striking back. So since they're not doing that, Death Brother has to sort of consolidate and move 1 inch away. Just to back up a bit so that we are not locked in combat there. Okay. Got about 10 more minutes, then I gotta get rolling. Let's see here. So might as well activate these soldiers over here. One of them has a plasma rifle, so maybe can do something against the Death Brother there. Let's see. Yeah, the only real difference is plasma rifle has AP4. All right, so we're doing white for the plasma rifle and red for the rifle. They both hit on a 5. Shooting at the Death Brother. The plasma rifle does hit, and that is AP4. All right, I guess that regeneration is going to come in handy here, isn't it? Since that's 4, that means the Death Brother can only save on a 6. Yeah. No cover or anything like that. So 6, but with regeneration, unit where all models have this rule, take wounds, roll 1 die for each on a 5 or more is ignored. So I guess that means if we get a wound effect on a 5 or more, it's nothing. Okay, it's a 5, so did not save. So now we roll for wound effect. It's a 1. So let's roll on a 5 or more, not really wounded. 5. Okay. So the Death Brother is not shaken. Does not really take a wound. Okay. Yeah, the wound is just ignored. So that's Death Brothers for you, I guess. Okay. That is the Death Brother difference on a 5 or more. No wound. Just fine. A-okay. That is regeneration, too, in general. Not only Death Brothers have that one. Who should go next? Who just went? Those infantry guys shot at the Death Brother. That's what happened. I was gonna. We still could shoot at that assault brother with a heavy machine gun here. 30 inches? Almost certainly, yeah. I can. Line of sight, though. We'll say cover. Partially obscured by the rubble over there. So we're going to activate the heavy machine gun and just take a quick shot at the assault brother to see if we can do something. Hitting on a 5 or more. And all misses. So that's nothing. Okay. What about these guys, though? We could do an advance with these guys and put them over here. Oh, wait, no, we can't move them now. One of the Blood Brothers gets to move. Might as well shoot with one of the shooty boys over here. Who can they see? Who can they see? Still just the ogre, really. So I don't know, I might keep the heavy machine gun here, but then maybe move the rifleman over this way, because what if we could do an advance with the rifleman to put him right here, more or less? Yeah. So let's do that. We'll advance with the rifleman, and then we'll see if we can do, obviously can in range. We're going to try to snipe at that stormtrooper over there. Hitting on a 3 or more. Stormtrooper gets cover, but AP1 basically negates that. 2, miss, so nothing happens. Okay. Well, it's 11 o'clock, and it's a work day. I need to get going, so I'm not really going to be able to finish this up. But hey, you know what? We tried it out, and that's pretty cool. We did not finish the game. We made some progress. Looks like the Human Defense Force is still technically in the lead here, but who knows how this would have played out. Because none of the Blood Brothers really went down. In fact, we really only lost 1 soldier on the Human Defense Force side. So, yeah, it took me a little while to get back into the groove of the flow of one-page rules, but as you can see, for the most part, it's pretty simple to figure out. Just sort of look at your little list. These lists are really awesome, very easy to read. The rules are not super verbose and in-depth and whatnot, especially if you're just sticking to the core rules. Once again, I was looking at the rules yesterday. There are an awful lot of advanced rules if you want to pay a little bit of extra to get access to their advanced rule books. So there's a lot of extra stuff that One Page Rules has intentionally written to make optional additions for your games to add layers of complexity if you would like to. So this is the simplified version of Firefight, but we could make this a lot more complex if we wanted to. But yeah, that was Grim Dark Future Firefight, and I guess I'm gonna see y'all when I see ya. Take it easy, y'all.